Well, if you thought landing a plane with no experience was hard, try communicating with teenagers. But don't despair, help is at hand. Eva-Maria is 17 herself, but has had 4 years' experience mentoring fellow teens. And she's just published a book called You Shut Up, giving parents and other adults the insider's guide to dealing with this mysterious species. She joins me now from Wellington. Eva-Maria, is it possible to communicate with teenagers?
Of course it is. I mean, they're human. Are you serious? I met so many parents and adults that say that teenagers are so hard to deal with and they never listen, they never do anything. But I mean, come on, we're all human. We've all been there.
So what are we doing wrong?
Well, I mean, I guess in a lot of cases I reckon it's just miscommunication, and there's always that sense of intergenerational conflict that's always there. And what I'm saying is I can't, tell you how to get rid of generational conflict, but people can minimize it, just bridge the gap.
How do you do that?
Well, I reckon the most important thing is to trust your teenager, and I know that sounds really, really, really dumb to, adults sometimes, but see, if you give a teenager freedom, they're not going to think about the responsibilities. But if you give teenager responsibilities, they're going to realize that they get freedom with those responsibilities. They'll want to be more responsible later on.
You talk in the book that quite often parents jump to the worst conclusion straight away.
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, I think that there's that group of teenagers that, do drugs and go out all the time and, do heroin. But, why are all teenagers judged just by how a group of particular teenagers act? I mean, there's so many teenagers that, they're really good. They have nice jobs, nice families, they have good morals. Why do other adults treat them like they're criminals in some ways?
Well, maybe it could be that some adults remember what they were like when they were teenagers and suspect that they're doing the same things. And look, there is a lot of drugs around. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Kids are drinking younger.
Well, that's true, but, we're not the same teenagers that parents were, so parents shouldn't always think that just because they did drugs, their teenagers are going to do it too.
Now, one bit of advice, though, you do give in the book, and a lot of parents will rail at this, it says don't use the no word all the time.
Well, I mean, why would you want to use the no word if you trust your teenager, if you talk to them, if you're open enough to them? Why would you want to say no all the time? And that's the thing. I mean, if a teenager comes to you and they say, hey, look, can you drive me and my friend down to the mall? If you say no, next time when they need something bigger or when they need, something else from you, they're going to say, oh, well, my parents said no last time, so I'm just going to go to something else. And a different alternative might be more dangerous, If you can't turn to your parents, who are you going to turn to,
Okay, Eva-Maria, just before you go, look, what's the best piece of advice you would give to parents tonight in terms of how to relate better to their teenagers?
Well, I guess to trust your future, probably read the book, eh? It's pretty clear in it. But, yeah, just trust your teenagers. Honestly, they're not as bad as you think.
All right. Hey, listen, thanks a lot. And thanks for putting out, I think, what is an insider's guide to the teenage mind, which, as I says, remains a mystery to many of us. Thanks for joining us, Eva-Maria.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
So, on the back of that, don't forget, it's called You Shut Up if you need to find out how to deal with those teenagers. And that's it from us. That's New Zealand Close Up.